15 huge announcements were made during this month's Nintendo Direct. Let's check them out right now. Kirby Star Allies. Of course, Nintendo's very own pink creature has something to say too. Star Allies' latest news takes us closer to a magical adventure. Throughout your adventure, players can reach dream palaces and meet their fan-favorite legacy characters. Eventually, more dream friends will be added to the game through free updates. The first such update hits March 28 and adds classic characters Marx, Gooey, and character set Rick, Kine, and Koo to the game. Kirby Star Allies launches exclusively for the Nintendo Switch on March 16, and a free demo for the game is currently available in the Nintendo eShop. South Park: The Fractured Butthole. It seems like Nintendo is really breaking out of their M-rated shackles. Trey Parker and Matt Stone's video game was a surprise for Switch users since the series was known for its offensive content. Nonetheless, that doesn't stop them from releasing a wide array of games that stray away from their younger market. Note that this release won't include the DLCs, but it will be available for purchase. Follow the boys of South Park, Colorado in a superpowered quest. It's bound for release this April 24. Little Nightmares Complete Edition. Nintendo's getting real with their horror titles, and Tarsier Studios' entry is just the perfect scare for Switch users. The award-winning studio recaptures the charmingly horrific puzzle platforming adventure of Six. Lead her escape in a haunting and disturbing place called the Maw. The complete edition contains 2 haunting tales of Six and the Runaway Kid in one package. You can even tap the Pac-Man amiibo figure sold separately to unlock the Pacu mask when playing. Little Nightmares Complete Edition launches on May 18. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. The Definitive Edition of Hyrule Warriors brings together dozens of characters from the Legend of Zelda series in an over-the-top action game. Experience an exhilarating hack-and-slash action from the team behind the Dynasty Warriors franchise. This edition packs the 29 characters previously available in the Wii U and the 3DS with a few additions such as maps and missions. Paid DLCs are also planned, so tune in to Nintendo's eShop for more details. The game launches for Nintendo Switch on May 18. Dark Souls Remastered. Praise the Sun. From Software's latest remake, the genre-defining Souls is headed to the Switch. On top of that, they even have an exclusive amiibo figure based on Solaire of Astora. Players can obtain the gesture by using the figure on the Switch, obviously. Nintendo also announced that players who want to take the game for a spin can participate in a network test. The free network test launches in Nintendo eShop and will allow players to download and play a part of Dark Souls Remastered before it launches this year to try out the gameplay and unique online features. Sushi Striker Wave the Sushido. Originally a 3DS exclusive, this action puzzle game finds players devouring conveyor belt sushi, matching plates, and then throwing them to defeat enemies on the Nintendo Switch. The basics are simple, but the gameplay is a lot more intuitive and a bit more tasty. In a world where sushi is forbidden, what would you do? The game features multiplayer content where players can even compete locally or online against other players in intense matches. Sushi Striker The Way of Sushido launches for both Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3DS on June 8. Mario Tennis Aces. Nintendo gets to unveil new details about their upcoming tennis bonanza. Unleash an arsenal of shots and strategies in all-out tennis battles with friends, family, and fan-favorite Mushroom Kingdom characters. The game contains 15 of your favorite Mario characters, and they're definitely on board for a whole lot of swinging fun. It announced a whole new gameplay mechanic that could rock the court. Players can slow down time with impressive trick shots and use their Switch to aim at a certain spot. Aside from that, multiplayer has a 4-player local mode and a story mode that even includes creative boss battles. When players feel like button pressing is a chore, they can always go to swing mode. This can let players use their Joy-Con controllers like a tennis racket. Now that's fun. It's set to release this June 22nd. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Sony's beloved Bandicoot isn't an exclusive anymore. This Insane Trilogy is a collection of the first 3 games of the series. It includes the original Crash Bandicoot, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warp, all in remastered format. Same as usual, players can jump and spin to defeat enemies and smash crates. Embrace the nostalgia and the smoothest Crash experience to date with refined textures and enhanced soundtrack. Apart from its Switch release, it's also coming to the Xbox One and PC this July 10. Project Octopath Traveler. Square Enix reveals new details about their upcoming Switch JRPG. Producer Masashi Takahashi from Square Enix spills the beans. This includes the final build Octopath Traveler and 2 more main characters that can join the fray. Additionally, they also share a new mechanic that helps you equip multiple jobs per character for use in battle. Octopath Traveler launches exclusively for the Nintendo Switch on July 13. Octopath Traveler Wayfarer's Edition, a special edition bundle that includes a stylized pop-up book, a helpful cloth map, the Octopath Traveler Sound Selection CD, and a replica coin based on the in-game currency, launches the same day. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Originally launched for the Wii U, this puzzle game is coming to the Nintendo Switch. The new version includes new miniature courses based on various kingdoms in the Super Mario Odyssey game. While one player controls Captain Toad, others can assist with things like turnip cover fire. That means working together yields great results. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker launches for Nintendo Switch on the 13th of July. A Nintendo 3DS version of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which includes stereoscopic 3D visuals and touchscreen controls, also launches on July 13. Splatoon 2. We're also getting some inkling love in this Splatoon 2 announcement. The first upcoming paid DLC, named Octo Expansion, brings a new single-player campaign that lets players control a fresh character named Agent 8, an Octoling with lost memories. Aside from that, it will also feature 80 missions and it will shed more light on our beloved characters. After completing the expansion, players can play as Octolings in its multiplayer battles. Sweet. Most importantly, Splatoon 2 gets a free major update this April that adds over 100 new gear, more stages, and a new Rank X that's obviously higher than S+. Okami HD. This PlayStation 2 classic gets to shine on the Nintendo Switch. Capcom's beautiful action-adventure gets a remake. Play as the legendary Okami Amaterasu in the form of dog and weave through Japan's magical and tainted lands. In the Nintendo Switch version of the game, players can use the touchscreen in handheld mode or the Joy-Con motion controls in TV or tabletop mode to control the Celestial Brush to defeat enemies and solve puzzles. Okami HD launches in Nintendo eShop on Nintendo Switch this summer. Super Smash Bros. Possibly the biggest announcement of this month's Nintendo Direct. Fans were ready to get disappointed for yet another Splatoon game, but as it turns out, it's Super Smash Bros. For the Switch. Not a lot was revealed, but its announcement trailer teased a massive amount of characters, including Mario, Breath of the Wild Link, and so much more. It's a completely new game and it's not a port from its previous consoles. It might offer a new gameplay mechanic and it will change the way we see Super Smash Bros. Forever. This announcement single-handedly made it to every Switch user's most anticipated games. Here's hoping we get to see more of our favorite characters soon. It's set to release this year. Travis strikes again, no more heroes. We already suspected that Travis Touchdown is making a grand comeback on the latest No More Heroes game. Our unlikely protagonist goes on a rampage of epic proportions. The latest title in the cult classic No More Heroes series contains a total of 7 game titles, including an action game, racing game, and puzzle game. By using the Joy-Con controller, 2 players can team up for co-op multiplayer action. Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes launches exclusively for the Nintendo Switch this year. Undertale. When everyone's all aboard the Switch engine, even the indie companies ride. Of course, Toby Fox won't back down with the opportunity. Also a part of Switch's third-party deals, this role-playing game reintroduces players into a completely different take on the genre. How will you create your own adventure beneath the magical world of Undertale? Talk to monsters, jive into Toby Fox's tunes, and fill yourself with determination. The million-selling role-playing game in which nobody has to die is headed to Nintendo Switch sometime this year. You may get these games right now by clicking the links below.